I'm Mary Pepino, and welcome to Fit for You, the show that teaches you how to live a healthier and more fit lifestyle. You're probably looking behind me and wondering, where is she? You cannot believe we are here in Youngstown, Ohio at the Lake Club's Pool and Recreation Center. Brand new, opened in May of this year, and it is unbelievable. The most spectacular thing about this is that it is geared towards family fitness, and that's what this show is all about. Family fitness, having fun here at the Lake Club new Pool and Recreation Center. I hope you enjoy the show. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the Director of Food and Beverage and the gentleman who kind of oversees this whole complex here of the Pool and the Recreation Center, Mr. George Neal. Hi, George.
Hi, Mary.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And I know you've been spending a lot of time here, and I have to throw in, you have a precious little 5-month-old at home.
I do.
Your time's kind of been torn between the two, huh?
It's been quite torn between the two, absolutely.
And you look fabulous, even though you don't get much sleep.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
You look wonderful.
Sleep is a premium right now.
Absolutely. Hey, let's talk a little bit. We're very fortunate to have what Ed and Chris Moransky have created here in Youngstown, Ohio. And as we sit here, it feels like I'm in, a resort somewhere in a beautiful island in the middle of the water. And you were on the ground floor, I think, when they started to, Ed was, talking about bringing his vision to life. So they created this phenomenal facility. Tell us what we have here.
Well, truly it is a vision that I think only Ed would see, the land that it was 3 years ago, to be able to develop it from the fields that it was to, what we have here today, which is essentially, it's a resort. It's a resort in an island in the middle of Poland, Springfield Township, Beaver Township, right here in the heart of Mahoning County.
Well, when I come from the health and fitness angle, truly, it has absolutely everything you could possibly want, from giving you the best workout, to giving you the rest and relaxation, to giving you in the fitness room, the cardio and the weights, and then you come up and do the water fitness, and all built around family. That's what I love so much. It's a very family fitness-oriented atmosphere, and let's not forget the golf, but anyway.
Absolutely. And again, and everything that we do around here centers around, the Moransky family, and everything that we do really, from the staff to every member that we have, it's truly, our goal is to provide that family atmosphere every day. We strive every day to exceed the expectations that are set for us, as well as, exceed the expectations of every member we have come through the door and their families, and create that family environment.
And I love the design, because it wasn't just about beauty and aesthetics. It was about safety, and it was about having something to appeal to everyone.
And this facility is built the way that it is to truly appeal to every aspect of our membership, from providing this upper pool level where our members can come with their families and rent a cabana for a day or for the year or however long they want to get one for, and enjoy the family time they have together, and truly be with all the members that we have here. But we also do have a lower level area here where, it is an adult preferred and adult only area. So for some of our members who do want to kind of have that more adult experience, on our lower level here and our adult pool and pool bar, it's a little bit, and it's more than a little bit, it's a lot for everyone. It's a lot of something for everyone.
Yeah. Tennis courts, basketball court, garden, an area where the Treetop Cafe, and then where you can have birthday parties, or you can have little events that's off of the cafe. Then you have the beautiful cabanas. The pool is just to die for. And then you have the adult pool with the adult bar below. And it's in the most amazing setting.
And truthfully, you could be at that lower pool level and not know that there's a soul on the upper pool area, and you could be sitting in the upper pool area with your family or with whomever and just not know that there's a whole nother world. The second day that we were open, I remember walking around in here and just thinking that You almost can't see anything but the treetops when you're in the upper pool area, and hence the name for the Treetop Cafe that Ed and his family developed and came up with. But you would walk in here and hear the water and hear the music and hear the families and hear people having fun, and you don't know, you wouldn't even think that you're in Mahoning County, which is that type of retreat and that type of getaway that we want our members, and we want to provide for our members, and we want them to enjoy.
A very special touch to this building is the old South High School scoreboard. And I'll give a little explanation and then you can take it from there, because Ed's youngest daughter, my niece, where Ed, when he played high school football for Cardinal Mooney, they played on the field where that scoreboard was. And that scoreboard is rebuilt and part of this complex now. And the best part of it is, the scoreboard gives you the date.
It gives you the time, and it keeps track every minute,
and the date.
It gives you the date.
And then what else does it give you?
The last thing that's on there is it's the score the last time that Michigan beat Ohio State.
And in this area, that's very amusing.
Yeah.
Only it makes it a lot of fun.
It sure does.
Because for those who know Ed,
right.
It was a Michigan
Absolutely.
All-American. There's a lot of Ohio State fans here. So
there's a fair amount of Ohio State fans that are members here at the club, and the scoreboard has been quite a conversation piece, and a lot of people want to know, what the numbers really mean, and obviously the time is self-explanatory, and the date, but that score there it creates a little bit of conversation for sure.
And I think it's great too, when you talk about camaraderie and you talk about fun, they really have made it, because you definitely have two opposing sides, but they really do come together in a very healthy, fun format, and we get to laugh a lot, depending on whose side you're on and how the game is going each year.
Exactly, for sure.
The fire pit.
Oh yeah.
Love the fire pit, and they've done. You never think of a fire pit as being family fun fitness. So tell us what you've done on Friday nights with fire pit.
Every Friday night, we're using that fire pit during our family fun nights. We're making s'mores. The kids are hanging around with their parents down at the fire pit. Everyone's making a s'more. A couple of weeks ago, we were cooking hot dogs over the open fire. We throw a couple of logs on and we light it up and let it get hot, and we've been trying some different things down there. But the kids, they love the s'mores. Every Friday night, I think they look forward to 7 o'clock, 7:30 when they get an opportunity to fire up that. When we fire that up and they head down there to start.
Yeah, and when I was growing up, there seemed to be a little bit more that you were at home more. You had the backyard barbecue. You did that. I think bringing that back into these kids' lives is great, because it kind of became a little bit of a lost fun idea for a few years.
No, absolutely. And like I said, I think that the kids are having a lot of fun down there, especially making their own, melting the chocolate themselves and making a little bit of a mess of themselves, but I think they're having fun.
Yeah. George, I can't thank you enough. I so appreciate you being here and making me feel so welcome when I come.
Well, thank you. Absolutely.
It's fantastic.
Like I said, it's all part of it's one big family around here, and that's, what we strive for every day.
Yeah. It's my pleasure to introduce you to Rachel Madden, the pool manager of the Lake Club Pool. Hi, Rach.
Hi, how are you?
Thank you so much for joining. I'm good. How can you not be good in this fabulous setting, right?
It's the best job in the world.
I love it. I love being here. Give us a little background, Rachel, because I know you're extremely experienced, not only on the swimming side, but on the safety and health side. Because when we start to talk about family fitness, and one thing I really admire is when there's a real focus on safety, and that's what they have here. Give us your background.
Yeah, there's definitely a focus on safety here. I have my EMT certification, and I'm a lifeguard instructor. I'm also a firefighter.
Volunteer firefighter in Poland, if I recall.
Yes, that's right.
Very cool.
And I have been training lifeguards for about 9 years now.
And you also teach CPR and first aid,
and
oxygen.
And oxygen, yes.
And then what do you do 9 months out of the year at Holy Family School?
I teach computers.
So you have a very extensive teaching background,
Yes, absolutely.
which is perfect for families because you really know how to take care of the kids, have fun, and keep them safe.
Right.
That's what I think I noticed most about you when we were preparing for today's interview. As we were talking, you brought so much fun into every element as we walked around and you talked about the different things you're doing. It's just amazing. Let's talk first about the health benefits of swimming because you can do it at every age
Absolutely.
and you can do it as a family. And let's talk a little bit about adults first. Great for heart health.
It is. It is great for cardiovascular health. One of the things is that's very low impact on the joints. So you can get that good heartbeat going without doing all that pressure jumping or damage to your joints like you would get on land exercise.
And for children, it's good for training their little lung capacities, correct?
Yes. Especially for runners. So if you have children that are in track or running cross country, it's excellent for them to develop that lung capacity and stamina in the water.
How old are the little ones when you start teaching?
Well, I think our youngest student currently is 6 months.
Now,
We have a parent-child class, yes, and we start with locomotion, movement in the water, water acclimation, all the way up to getting them ready for swim team and sending them off.
Now their little heads don't go in the water at 6 months, correct?
No, we don't. We don't voluntarily submerge them. We let them submerge themselves.
It's wonderful. So then we get into those teen years.
Yes.
And so many kids are struggling with self-esteem and identity and whatnot, and swimming is probably one of the easiest
Yes.
and most productive ways to develop and maintain some type of a fitness level during those tough teen years.
Yeah, it's really fantastic because the water is non-judgmental. Swimming can very much be a group exercise or a lone exercise. We have water polo nets here. We set up a water volleyball, water polo games they can play as a team, but also they can come in and swim laps independently. So wherever they are in their development or their exercise, there's really an alternative for them here in the water.
Let's talk about muscular strength. Tell me how it builds muscular strength, because you think of it, oh, maybe it's just being your arms, or maybe just being your legs a little bit, but it's really the full body.
It is. It's really the full body, especially swimming itself. You know, that prone position in the water when you're accelerating. You're utilizing your quadricep, which is the largest muscle in your body. You get a lot of hip flexion.
Tell them where the quad is, upper thigh.
Upper thigh. You get a lot of hip flexion. So from your hip to your quad, you're sending all that power down your legs for the kick. You have to have good, solid, strong core muscles in order to maintain your position in the water. Your head posture needs to be correct. And then what you're doing with your shoulders and arms is just unparalleled to anywhere else. You're turning your arms into these gigantic long levers, and they're pushing water, which is actually providing pressure and developing strength in your arms.
I think it is the only sport where you can get a full body workout.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can't think of any other sport where you would work that many muscle groups at one time.
Now let's talk about the relaxing side of it, because stress management is so important to all of us.
True. Very true.
So I find the water can be very calming, very relaxing. Want to talk about that a little bit?
Very much so. I mean, especially in a place that has facilities like ours where you have, nice flowing water and, you get a nice breeze over the water. It can be very relaxing. It's really good to get in and maybe take some of the pressure off your body from the day. Plus the water's a little cooler. It usually helps with a little bit of swelling if you've had a really stressful day in the heat. It's definitely beneficial. I always said, we come from water, we belong in water.
A great little saying.
Yes.
Let's talk about the adult pool, because you have some special amenities in that area. There's a hot tub.
Yes, we do.
And then you keep the pool, the adult pool, which is totally separate from the main pool,
Yes,
at 90 degrees.
90 degrees, which for those of us who have arthritis or have developed some joint problems, it's just a phenomenal way to get in and loosen up some of that really bound muscle and kind of relax and start to get some movement back in those joints, which is really important.
Well, do you know what I found about it too? And I'm a little bit of a runner, and then I'm a little bit of, doing the heavier weight routine. coming in after that and then getting into that nice warm water. And the depth, I stayed in an area that wasn't over my head. It was fantastic. So I could walk, I could tread a little bit, I could just kind of lay back. It was so relaxing. And it really, I noticed a big difference a couple of days after, because you know how sometimes you'll get that little bit of soreness after a heavy workout? It really alleviates that.
It really very much does. It helps those muscles relax in a way that I don't think that you could get anywhere else. Yeah, it's a fantastic use of relaxation. It's a nice way to unwind from a good hard workout. Absolutely.
Yeah. Stress management, family. So you've got the basketball net.
Yes.
You put up the volleyball. I love the zero entry pool, because what that is where they can just kind of walk in the water. And the cutest thing over the weekend was one of our dear friends, their little 2-year-old was just, scurrying right into the water in her little diaper and her little swimsuit.
Yes.
She was great, and her dad was behind her, but it was just the cutest thing because she just loved the fact that she could just trot right in.
Yeah, we start our swim lessons with our 2- and 3-year-olds in that zero depth entry because it's at their height and it's non-intimidating, and it allows them to lay on their stomach and blow their bubbles and submerge their face, and it gets them started with being ready to be swimmers. So it's a great way to introduce kids to the water in a very non-stressful situation.
And if the grandparents want to come, this isn't just about the kids and about the parents. We can bring the grandparents, and the grandparents love that water, because especially as we get a little bit older, talk about balance, talk about posture, maintaining flexibility. You don't have to take a so-called class. You can just kind of move around in that water and you get the benefits of all of that.
Yeah, anything that you can do to really focus on one area of balance at a time, especially try standing on one leg and holding yourself up on one leg, or walking backwards. Really great for your brain to walk backwards. Really great for some of those muscle groups that are really underutilized. So absolutely, in terms of balance and cognition, yeah, the water is a wonderful place to be.
The play area that has the fantastic slide.
Yes.
Okay, I saw a couple adults going down that slide. I know you have to be limited on height, I think, and weight for the kids, but
it's a thrill. It's absolutely a thrill. Yes, you have to be under 6'2" and under 250 pounds. But if you're looking to get your heart rate up fast, there you go. We've actually utilized that area quite a bit, though, because we get some pool noodles and we host some water fitness in there for some folks who can't really swim very well. It's nice and shallow, and it's safe because it's kind of enclosed. But we can get a whole lot done in that area.
Now tell them what a pool noodle is.
It's just a long foam noodle. Usually they have a solid core, and they can be used to hold you up. They can be used to help provide some resistance in the water.
And you hold the noodle?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I know they're very light and fun to
they
toss
are.
around.
Yes.
Then you go into the diving area, and I know that is the one area of the pool that's almost 12 feet deep?
Almost 12 feet deep, which is very unique for this area. I think the deepest well I know of in this area is only 10 feet deep.
And you taught me a new term, a diving well.
It is a diving well.
I never knew that term, so that's what it's called when you have the diving board with that depth.
And we have this advantage of having a really wonderful competition level diving board. It gives our swim classes the opportunity to learn how to dive appropriately. The kids absolutely love it, but the adults also love it a whole lot.
And then you can swim laps. You can just get in and you have an area where, and we're not to the adult pool yet, this is up in the main area. Right. There's another totally separate section, which I very much enjoyed, swimming laps.
Yes.
A few days ago.
Yeah, we have separate swim lap areas, 2 separate swimming lanes. They're never reserved at the same time, so it's usually a very relaxing experience to swim laps there. A lot of adults also use the diving well for water running. You'll see them water running, which is really great to recover from a running injury, just to run in the water. So it's been very beneficial in terms of, fitness just from those 3 areas of the pool alone.
Running in water was interesting to me because I was not that familiar with that as a recovery technique.
It is a recovery technique. I come from a background of some really fantastic triathlon trainers that are used to a lot of endurance running, and they've always used water running as a form of recovery from, those really serious endurance workouts.
I don't think people realize how much different it is when when you're working against the water.
Yes.
It is just amazing. And when I hadn't swam laps in, probably a couple of years, came out to the pool, and my sister encouraged me, and she's a big swimmer, so she's awesome at it.
She's a good swimmer.
Yeah, she's great. Well, and I have to say, many years ago when it was Fond du Lac Country Club, my sister, Chris Briansky, was the head lifeguard, so it's so funny now that, her and her husband had owned the whole facility and created it. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
But when I got in the water, and I'm a pretty fit person and pretty aware. When I was swimming and I had to hold, now I'm very focused, trying to hold my core in the proper position and trying to do professional strokes, strokes as they are supposed to be done. It's not easy.
No, it's absolutely not. You could spend a lifetime trying to perfect your swim stroke, and some people do. There's so many techniques and so many drills that you can use to strengthen different muscle groups while you're in there swimming. It's a fantastic and versatile way to continue exercising where you just never run out of ideas.
I was at a resort about 6 months ago, and there was a gentleman there and started talking, and I was going into the fitness room, and he was just in the hallway, and he was in a swimsuit. But this man was in the most amazing shape. So, being the, fitness person that I am, naturally I want to know, what do you do? And I could tell he was elderly. We start talking, and he was in his late 70s. Looked like he was probably late 60s. Muscles defined like you couldn't believe.
Absolutely.
Wonderful, beautiful core, very tight abdominals. He told me all he does is swim. He swims between 45 minutes to an hour, 5 days a week. All he does.
Absolutely. If you get in the water and you challenge yourself for just that little bit of time, you'll just see gigantic results. It's very important to remember that no matter what level you start at, you're always going to gain in progression the more that you practice. So, he probably got in the water as a kid and just never got back out.
Well, and he said he is very focused on his form.
Yes.
He said, when I'm in the water and I'm swimming, he said, and believe it or not, focusing on your form wears you out.
Very much so.
Even more so than swimming faster.
Right.
Because I was able to swim fast, but once I started focusing on my form, it was like, okay, got to take a little break. I mean, it's strenuous.
It is. It can be a very strenuous exercise, or it can be a very soothing exercise, depending on what you're going for. If you're really perfecting that form and really working on making your speed go faster or your head position change, then absolutely you can get that good solid workout in. Or if you haven't swam in a long time and you just are focusing on getting up and down the lane, you can also do that.
Well, you know what I did after I swam my my attempt at being, very perfect form laps. I then went down to the adult area, jumped into the adult pool that was 90 degrees,
Absolutely.
Just kind of relaxed a little bit, then got in the jacuzzi after that. It was heaven.
Absolutely. And we see people here that do that, and it just kind of makes me smile because they do spend a big chunk out of their day with us. And that's great that we get to contribute to their health like that.
Yeah, and I was able to order lunch.
Yes.
It was fantastic, a fabulous salad. I mean, I think the menu covers just everybody from, children to adults, but I love the fact that it was very extensive and you could eat everything from, delicious homemade French fries to a phenomenal salad. And down at the adult area, there is a bar.
There is.
That is very fun. But up here, the Treetop Cafe, love the name Treetop Cafe because it looks over the treetops. Will serve the people at the pool in their lounge chairs, or we're sitting here, and we should talk a moment about these beautiful cabanas. I've never seen cabanas in many places, so to have them here in Youngstown, Ohio, it's just fabulous.
Yeah, it is. It's truly an experience from the time that you walk in the door, because what you're looking at is more like a resort kind of feel. The cabanas have this lovely breeze that's always blowing across the curtainway. They have their own fans and TVs. They come with a refrigerator, fresh fruit, and it's really a great place for families to kind of gather and relax together. And I'm always looking at ways, especially for my family, to get us together and get us, spending time together. So this is just a wonderful way to do that.
Now, I will preface, you have to be a member or be with a member and can be a guest of a member, but
Absolutely.
which
Yes.
Which makes it nice because you don't get so overly crowded
Right.
that everyone has space to move.
And everybody here understands the rules and regulations, so it's just a nice, calm environment. You don't have lifeguards blowing whistles every 10 seconds or kids going crazy. Everybody knows the facility really well, so it just makes it a fun place to be.
And like I said, I think another reason why is because I have never seen so many families come together because, like I said, there's just something for everybody. You want to come here as a family.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about the grounds. I know there are gardens here.
Yes.
There's a children's garden, and for sustainability, there's an herb garden, what is termed a pizza garden,
Yes.
and then just like a general touch garden that I thought was so cool. So they're actually starting to grow some things that they will use in
Absolutely.
their foods here, correct?
Yeah, this coming Friday, actually, for our family fun night, they're going to be doing salsa. So the children are going to be picking the vegetables directly out of the garden and producing salsa, which is just a fantastic way to not only educate them about where our food comes from and what's the difference between a fruit and a vegetable and what herbs taste like and all of that, but also just the sustainability of it. Whatever is grown there is used here. So, you know, you're not looking at produce that's been sprayed. This coming Friday, actually, for our family fun night, they're going to be doing salsa. So the children are going to be picking the vegetables directly out of the garden and producing salsa, which is just a fantastic way to not only educate them about where our food comes from and what's the difference between a fruit and a vegetable and what herbs taste like and all of that, but also just the sustainability. So,
Very interesting.
yes.
Jump back to swimming a little bit. Let's talk about caloric burn. So somewhere between, my research shows about 400 to 700 calories per hour depending on your pace.
Yes, and if you think about, you know, your standard run for an hour is going to give you about the same thing. That's really impressive. You get in the water, and if you just push yourself a little, it's amazing how many calories you'll burn.
And the other thing is you're not pounding on your joints.
No.
So what it is doing to your body really is, not only is it not doing any kind of damage from the pounding, it's actually helping.
Yes.
Because of the buoyancy.
Absolutely. I can honestly say a few kids later and a couple years on, and I definitely always feel better getting out of the pool after a workout. It feels good.
Let's talk too about Family Fun Night. I know that's really a big deal here, and it's packed. Tell us about Family Fun Night.
Family Fun Night is just an absolutely fantastic opportunity for families to spend some time together, and it's just got something for everyone. The themes vary per week.
Every Friday.
Every Friday. The themes are varying per week. One week we had a very hungry caterpillar theme. The kids made crafts. They made a gigantic caterpillar in the pool out of pool noodles. All the kids connected themselves together. We had pirate night.
Now you create all this, right?
I do.
You come up with all these great ideas.
I do. We had pirate night. We had a treasure map where they had to go around and find clues, and they ended on the tennis court with our tennis pro, who kind of showed them a little bit of stuff that they hadn't seen tennis-wise before. In this past week, we had The Little Mermaid here. We did an under the sea theme, and we had inflatable fish in the pool and squirt guns, and we even had a kickball game out there on the grass. So family fun nights are pretty fantastic, yeah.
And you know, even to our audience, if you're not, you know, a member or able to participate here, think about the concept. Create something fun. Do a family fun night at home. Pick a night a week. Bring your family together, come up with some creative ideas, and I'm sure not everyone has the benefit of you, but you can Google family fun things, right?
Pinterest. And what kills me the most is that a lot of my ideas are coming from my teenage lifeguards. Teenagers that want to be involved in this kind of stuff. You know, talk to your teenage children, see what kind of ideas they have to spend some time together, because seriously, they are a fountain of knowledge in terms of things that are fun.
And I think everybody, when you can bring people together and just relax and just have fun, you know, it's so important, I think, to building, you know, a good health for all of us. It's a key component to good health. We forget how important camaraderie is and the buddy system and being able to do things together. And I love doing things with different age groups because like you said,
Yes.
I love, I learned something from little children to teenagers to people that are, 30 or 40 years older than me. It's just pretty soon I'm not going to find people 40 years older than me. I'm getting there where now it's
You're
about
so
30.
funny.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, I think people lose sight of that too. Sometimes we cocoon ourselves
Yes.
to what we know and what's easy and what's around us, and we don't expand beyond that. And there's so much to be learned from, so many different people.
It's beneficial to stretch yourself out just a little bit. I can honestly say my lifeguards keep me young.
Yeah.
No kidding, they keep me young.
I love it. Hey, real quick too, some classes that you do. You do water aerobics.
We do. We do your standard water aerobics, which is great for cardiovascular, a little bit of strength and a little bit of toning.
You do water polo.
We do. We run water polo games on the weekend. They can be very competitive matches, high intensity, really good for fat burning.
We talked about aqua jogging, and you actually do a class.
I do. I do a water running class. Fantastic, especially for those people who don't really like to put their face in the water. It's a good alternative.
Aqua Zumba.
Aqua Zumba's on its way. We have the sound system for it, and we're very excited to introduce it. Nice Latin moves, but at the same time burning those calories and hanging out with some friends.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And the other class that I find most fantastic, Aqua Yoga. Tell us about Aqua Yoga.
Aqua Yoga is incredibly relaxing, but at the same time is really, really good for your not only your mental health but your physical health. You're focusing on all of these stretching and strengthening positions, but at the same time you're getting all those health benefits that you would get from a regular workout. It's really fantastic.
Yoga's great. I'm very big on mindfulness.
Yes.
And basically all mindfulness is focusing in on what you're doing and trying to tune out everything else that's all around you, which is very hard for me and maybe why I focus so much on mindfulness, because it's a skill that I spend time learning to develop. But yoga really forces you to do that, and then to be able to combine that with the water
Absolutely.
is amazing.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being with us.
No problem.
You're fantastic. This place is beautiful, and I look forward to being in the water and working out with you in the not too distant future.
Yeah, we hope we see you here.
Thank you. So I'm standing here at these fabulous tennis courts at the Lake Club Pool and Recreation Center, and I want to give you a few little pointers about tennis and why it's so good for you from a health perspective. Increases your aerobic capacity, lowers your resting heart rate and blood pressure, increases your metabolism, we all love that. It increases bone density and lowers body fat, improves muscle tone, strength, and flexibility, increases your reaction time. It's a non-impact sport, believe it or not, suitable for all ages. Now we're going to get into the family fitness angle. Good for community and social interaction, which we know is so good for good health. Burns about 400 to 500 calories an hour, depending on how you play. And with that, I'm going to introduce you to the pro of the Lake Club, now I hope I pronounce your name correctly, because I love Z. Z's so easy for me.
Yeah.
Zishan Ismail.
That was a good job. That was good. Yeah, Zishan. That was perfect.
I love it. Z, you've been playing tennis a long time. You come from a pretty impressive family background in tennis. Tell us about it.
Yeah. My dad started us off with tennis. He was a professional tennis player. He was top 100 in the world, and he told us a lot of stories and got us into tennis from a young age. And he inspired us, me and my brothers, to play tennis.
And then you came to YSU on a tennis scholarship.
Yes, that's correct. I was born in Cincinnati, grew up in Zimbabwe, and I came over to Youngstown State University on a tennis scholarship, and I played there for 4 years. Had the most singles wins, as you said,
Most single win, that's pretty impressive. So we want to highlight that.
Yeah, I had the most singles wins on my class, and it was we had a good run. We made it to the semifinals of conference. Previously, we'd never won a match before, or made it that far before in the tournament.
So you put them on the map.
Yes, we did, and hopefully, future generations of YSU can do even better than us.
And you're impactful with future generations because then you started to help other students, and that's how you got into coaching, right?
That's correct. I'm proud of being a YSU Penguin. I'm proud of the players in the area, and I try and get involved with them to help them improve their game, take it to the next level, so that maybe one day they may play for YSU and even do better than myself.
That's wonderful. And now we have Coach, President Jim Tressel is president of YSU, so getting YSU on the map is it's exciting, it's fun.
It is awesome. There's so many renovations happening there, so many new buildings, dorms, students.
He's bringing tremendous energy.
It is. It's awesome.
When I watch you when you teach or when you train, it's very interesting to me because you are not what I will call the traditional tennis teacher. You incorporate fitness into, and we're going to demonstrate in a few minutes here, some of what you do, but you incorporate other fitness things such as squats, burpees if you really want to push yourself, the drill ladder. Talk a little bit about how you incorporate these things into your teaching, training sessions.
Tennis is you need an all-around physical capability. There's no really specific muscle groups you need. So especially to play tennis at a high level, you need to be strong at all positions of your body. So I try and incorporate hitting, tennis strokes, technique, all that along with the physical exercises to help you take your game to the next level. So I'll do like a forehand, a backhand, and then I'll have someone do a footwork ladder of some sorts to help them improve their footwork speed. Or I'll have them do a burpee or push-up, a sit-up, something to improve their rotation, their strength, to get more muscle power. At the end of the day, you watch those guys on TV. It's an extremely athletic, strong, tough game that really needs you to be strong. It's not how tennis used to be, where you can just kind of hit the ball and get by. You have to be an athlete.
If you're going to really make it in.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you keep yourself in pretty great shape. I know you watch your diet, right?
Yes. I try to stay away from trans fats, all fast sugars, chocolates, candies, preservatives. Try and eat as healthy and natural as I can. Work out I don't play professionally anymore, but it's a lifestyle. Just work out all the time, on the court workouts, off the court workouts, everything just to stay in shape and try and keep me the best coach I can be.
How many times a week now will you hit, even though you're no longer playing professionally?
I coach regularly on a daily basis.
So are you hitting with your students, so to speak, or
I don't have that many students that can really play with right now, but I'm trying to get them to that level. They're a lot younger than me, but hopefully one day. I hit every day with them pretty much.
We're talking about family fitness. Tell me how young you like to start your little students.
As young as they can kind of take instructions. We have a smaller net, so we can shrink everything down to their size, smaller rackets, softer balls, start them off really easy, just toss the ball, get the fundamentals in, and it's fun for them to hit a ball and run around. And it's great family fun. You can compete with each other. It's good bonding time, as you said. It's great to do an activity with the family.
And I didn't realize that you actually had smaller nets, softer balls. I mean, I knew there must be little rackets, but that's really, I think, an important element to getting them involved.
Yeah, very. It's tough to hit that harder ball and with a big racket, and they're not strong enough. So starting them small is a good way to. It's great to develop their coordination for other sports as well. Baseball and all that. The hand and eye is really a good thing to develop.
How long does a lesson usually go?
I usually do an hour lesson, but then depending on the player and what their aims are, some will go more, an hour and a half, 2. and then I can throw more physical stuff in there to really get them beat and tired, feeling stronger, or just less, just more technique. Make sure they're doing the right strokes.
Well, I want to show some action shots, and your friend Anine. Anine, come here, I want to introduce you real quick. And we have Anine Brendel joining us. Hi, welcome, welcome. And you are playing, and you were playing for YSU, correct?
Yes.
And you're going to demonstrate for us some of the wonderful techniques that Z teaches.
Yeah.
All right.
They recently just won the Horizon League Championship. This is their 3rd time in a row.
Congratulations,
Thank
that's
you.
fantastic. YSU has to be brimming with joy. That's great. Put them on the map. So, for some of our viewers that may not be familiar with the sport, naturally we have the tennis ball,
Yes,
and then you have the tennis racket.
correct.
Now, these are really cool, and I have no idea what these are. So, well, tell me please what these are.
These are cones. They're not normally used for tennis too often, but I use them as either cones that you have to hit at to teach my players direction and control, but I also use them as little station points where they will stop and do a burpee or a push-up or a squat or something before running back into the line and hitting some tennis shots.
Oh, I love it. Very creative.
Yes.
All right. Now, let's get into hitting.
Thanks, Mary. This is a drill I like to start with. It's just 3 forehands across the court. Just get your legs moving, get your arms moving, and then go and do the footwork ladder. This is a sideways, 2 feet in each box. Run back around, and then do 3 forehands across again. Get the blood flowing. Nice warm-up exercise. Get good feel, get good control, along with working on your control and your technique and your power and all that. And there's a different one. There's many different footwork exercises you can do with the ladder. This is all just to help you get in better position, increase your foot speed, as well as give you a good workout. As she said earlier, increase your metabolism, increase your aerobic capacity.
That's great for coordination too.
Exactly. Great for coordination. Okay.
Anina, I can see why you guys won. You're great.
Okay.
Oh, I like the hop.
Do some backhands now.
I love this energy.
Let's go. Yeah, great shot. Keep it up. Come on. Brush up, brush up. There you go. Shuffle around. Good job. And as you can see, there's a lot of movement, a lot of hitting. It's a great workout. Great
Fantastic.
to keep you active, keep you young, keep you healthy.
Well, and you know, that's another thing you just mentioned, keep you active and healthy. You can do this at any age. I know 80-year-olds that are amazing tennis players.
Exactly, and tennis is great for all ages. You can do doubles. Doesn't involve that much physical strain, but it's still fun and it's social, and there is enough of a workout. It's very, you can tailor it to your age and your ability very easily. That's what's so great about tennis.
With this beautiful fire pit behind me, after a fabulous family fitness day of swimming and tennis and basketball and just relaxing, I'm ready to wind it down. I hope we've given you and your family some great fun fitness ideas to enjoy all summer long, and thank you so much for watching. I'm Mary Pepino here at the beautiful Lake Club Pool and Recreation Center, and this is Fit for You.